All right, guys. Coach McBroom, Golden High School. This is Demon Baseball 101. Welcome back. Here's the game plan. Here's what we're talking about. We're talking about you can versus you can't, guys. Okay, I'll explain to you more details as to what that is. You might be able to figure it out for yourself. I have some guys here: Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, Derek Jeter, Pat Tillman. We'll talk about these guys at some point. For this one, we're going to talk about Michael Jordan a little bit. All right, so just a reminder before we get started, these are our baseball standards. We've talked about them before. Make sure you don't forget what they are. They're important. They're the reason why we are where we are. Our Golden High School baseball program has been successful for a little while now, and there's a reason why. We have standards, we stick to them, so get familiar with them. Have a plan, have a goal, high intensity in everything, and take practice serious. Positive attitude, mental toughness, which we're going to talk about a little bit here. Control your temper. And then accountability for you and your teammates. On time. You're always 15 minutes early. Make sure you're working in the weight room and use the empty cage, meaning don't stand around if there's a cage open or somewhere where you can be getting work in. Make it happen. And then work on your own. Put the time in, do some work on your own. Don't forget what they are. All right, here's the game plan. Here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset mentality. And we're going to talk about a mental toughness. This should be mental toughness umbrella. We're going to talk about the you can versus the you can't players, what the differences are. Now, as we go through this, when we talk about the mindsets, when we talk about the type of players, even when we talk about our mental toughness umbrella, think about where you sit. You should be reflecting back on where you are in all these things that we discuss. Which ones are you? You may be part of both. You may be working towards something. But pay attention. Where are you at on this? And then our outliers, and I'll explain that to you in a little bit. Two mindsets. So you have a fixed mindset and you have a growth mindset. Now, as I read through these, think about which ones apply to you. Which one are you more of? Or maybe you're all of one. So a fixed mindset is you believe that your abilities are unchangeable. Whatever you were born with is who you are. And that's just the way it works. This is the hand that I was dealt. I'll do the best with it, what I can. That's the fixed mindset. You don't like challenges. You avoid them. You don't like to be challenged. You give up easily. Okay, if things get tough, it's hard work, you give up. You believe hard work is pointless. You don't really work super hard because I don't really see that the reward is worth the hard work. You struggle with constructive criticism. Maybe you have coaches or teammates that give you some criticism. They tell you the things you're doing well, but they tell you the things that you should be working on too, and you don't like it. You don't like to hear that. And then you feel threatened by the success of others. So when others around you do something well, you don't like that either. You don't want people around you succeeding or looking good because it makes maybe you look bad. Maybe you're jealous. Maybe you've been working hard towards something, but you can't make it, so you don't want them to have that success. So that's fixed mindset. Now we have our growth mindset. You can develop your abilities through effort and dedication. So you were born with certain skills in certain areas. A fixed mindset, like I said, believes that those skills, they are what they are, they can't be changed. Growth mindset believes that you have these skills and you can improve them. And maybe you're not good at something right now, but with effort and dedication, that can change. That's what a growth mindset believes in. You love challenges. I have a phrase that I kind of kid around with a little bit, but I use occasionally, and I really do like it. I kind of make a joke out of it and play with it, but I think it's a great response too, is when somebody says something or they're talking about something that people can't do or are difficult. I love the saying, challenge accepted. Okay, so you love challenges. You thrive on them. You enjoy them. It's kind of something that's fun for you. Your setbacks motivate you to achieve. So when you fail at something, if you lose a game, if you have a baseball game and you go 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts or anything, You are motivated by that. That motivation, that's your fire that motivates you to work harder. So setbacks don't bother you, they motivate you. You see hard work as important to success. So you believe that if you want to achieve your goals and you want to have success, that you need to put hard work in. You believe in that hard work and you believe that it's going to pay off. You learn from criticism. So when people give you criticism, you take that criticism and you apply it to your work ethic or to your practices. And you believe that, hey, these are some of the things that I need to get better at. No big deal. Let's work on it. So you learn from your criticism. And then you're happy for others when they succeed and motivates you to work harder. So you're okay. People around you are doing great things and your team's doing well and so on and so forth. And maybe you're not getting all the accolades or the praise that you want at the moment. That's okay. You like for the people around you to do well too, but you're going to continue to work hard to hopefully achieve the goals that you set for yourself as well. So we have two mindsets. I think you can kind of figure out which one of these mindsets is more healthy and is going to help us with achieving goals that we set for ourselves. And you may be a little of both. You may be kind of in the middle. Maybe you have some of each. Maybe you are a fixed mindset 100%. Or maybe you have some of the fixed mindset, but you have some of the growth mindset as well. Ultimately, our goal is we want to work towards a growth mindset because that's how we grow in life and for what we're talking about in baseball. And if we have a growth mindset, we're going to improve. So the more of us that have that mindset, the better. So let's talk about how we get to there. Okay, coach, that sounds great. Growth mindset is, it sounds good, but the reality of it is, it's just not who I am. And that's our fixed mindset mentality taking over. So let's talk about some of the things that you can work on to help improve your mindset. So this is my mental toughness umbrella. So these are all characteristics that help a person or a player become more mentally tough. So mentally tough, you hear that a lot in sports today. It's a term that's thrown around a lot. And a lot of people can't even define necessarily what mentally tough means. Somebody does something really well. somebody says, hey, that person is mentally tough. Oh, really? Well, what's mentally tough? What does that mean? Well, mentally tough. I mean, they just are. They're just tough. They're mentally tough. Okay. Well, what's that mean? So here's what mentally tough is. So you have all these virtues or these characteristics. You have focus. You have motivation. You have work ethic. You have resilience. You have confidence, perseverance, competitiveness, grit, commitment, persistent preparation, and fortitude. You may or may not know what some of these mean, and that's okay because eventually you're going to. Not today, not in this video, but you will. But think about it. How many of those things do you do well? Because the more of those characteristics or virtues that you're good at, the more mentally tough you are. So that's what mental toughness is being able to do these things well. And it also creates a growth mindset. So if you aren't good at a bunch of these, or you think, yeah, I could be better, or if you have a fixed mindset and you want to become growth mindset, these are some of the things that we need to work on. We need to be focused. We need to figure out a way to be motivated. Our work ethic may need to improve. Resilience, confidence, perseverance, commitment. Are we committed? You may be really good at being focused, but we're not really good at committing to something. Or something you may work real hard, but you're not real competitive when it comes to game time. So this is mental toughness. We need to work on these, and we're going to talk more about them as we move forward. But I'm just going to make you aware of them today. And if you want to have a growth mindset, we talked about these. The more of these that we have, then the better that we're going to be. In our case, the better at baseball. All right, Michael Jordan. We're going to watch a few clips. I'm not going to make you watch the whole. This is Michael Jordan's Hall of Fame speech. I love Michael Jordan. And I don't love Michael Jordan because he was a great basketball player. I love Michael Jordan because of the competitor that he was. He was one of those guys that competed all the time. But even the thing that I love more about him, that I may have told some of you guys at some point, is the reason why Michael Jordan was so great is because he made all the players that he played with better around him. So you'll see a lot of great basketball players today, and they're really good at basketball. but their teams aren't really that good because it's really just about them, or they don't understand that the better the guy is next to me, the better my team's going to be. So I have to help him improve as well. So a lot of times I've had conversations with some of you guys that we talk about leadership too. Michael Jordan was great because all the guys around him became better just by playing with him. If you know anything about Michael Jordan, one of the guys that he played with forever was Scottie Pippen. And Scottie Pippen is recognized as one of the best 100 best 100 basketball players in the history of the sport. The reality of it is, in my opinion, he's not one of the best 100, but he seems like he is because he played with Michael Jordan his whole career because Michael Jordan made him so much better. He was a good basketball player, don't get me wrong, but Michael Jordan made him a lot better. So let's talk about the you can versus the you can't guys. So and this applies to Michael Jordan because he's an outlier. I talked about outliers. So he's uncharacteristic. He's not like most people. So a you can guy is somebody that plays better or performs better when they have people around them, coaches, teammates, so on and so forth. They're always building up their confidence, telling them they can do it. You can do this. You can do this. I've seen you do this before. I've got confidence in you. Hey, you can do this. Focus. You got this. No big deal. So we're always trying to build confidence within a player or within a person to achieve those goals. We stay positive with them. We don't bring a ton of negativity into their environment because they don't perform as well with the negativity. They perform better with the positivity. And that's a common person. I would say the majority of us operate that way. We're you can guys. But there's also the you can't guys, which in this case applies to Michael Jordan. A you can't guy is somebody that's motivated by their failures or being told they can't do something. And you're going to hear some of the stories that he's going to talk about, but I'll use as an example. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team, and he used that failure as a fire inside him to motivate him to achieve. And that's the way he operated a lot in life. Now, here's the thing. Whether you're a you can or you can't guy, at some point in your life, in your professional career or in sports or in high school, you have to be able to deal with both. So it's great. We like to be a you can guy. We like for people to build our confidence and tell us we're good at stuff and make us believe in ourselves. But at some point, you're going to have somebody that tells you can't do something. And if we're not comfortable operating in a you can't arena, then we give up. That's typically the thing that we do is we give up. We have to be able to do both. And we don't want to always deal with the you can'ts because the negativity with the you can't is overwhelming sometimes. But you got to be able to operate with it sometimes, being told you can't. You'll hear in the video that he talks about wood in the fire. So his fire is that drive that he has inside, and he used all these you can'ts as wood to light that fire. Okay, so I've broken this video up for you. You're not going to watch all of it, but don't forget at the end you're going to have 10 questions. So you can watch this video as many times as you want, but at the end you're going to have 10 questions based on what I've been talking about and based on what he's been talking about as well. And at the end, the reason why I put this limits like fears are often an illusion, because that's what he kind of ends things with, meaning that limits like fears. So limits, you believing that you can't do something, are like an illusion. There's something that you've created. You created your limits. Now, if you believe that you can't do something, it's because you created that. Just like fears, you have to overcome your fears sometimes. We create our own fears as well. So here we go. Enjoy the video. 10 questions at the end. Best of luck.
Welcoming Michael is one of his basketball role models, the Hall of Famer known as Skywalker, class of 1996, David Thompson. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Jordan.
Thank you. Thank you. I told all my friends I was going to come up here and say thank you and walk off. I can't. There's no way. I got so many people I can thank. And all the videos to that fire. Coach Smith, what else can I say about him? He's a legendary in the game of coaching. And then there's Leroy Smith. Now you gotta think that's a myth. Leroy Smith was a guy, when I got cut, he made the team, on the varsity team, and he's here tonight. He's still the same 6'7" guy. He's not any bigger. Probably his game is about the same. But he started the whole process with me because when he made the team and I didn't, I wanted to prove not just to Leroy Smith, not just to myself, but to the coach who actually picked Leroy over me. I wanted to make sure you understood you made a mistake, dude. And then there's Buzz Peterson, my roommate. Now, when I first met Buzz, all I heard about was this kid from Asheville, North Carolina, who's player of the year. I'm thinking, well, he ain't never played against me yet. So how did he become player of the year? Is that some type of media, exposure? I came from Wilmington. We had two channels, channel ABC and channel NBC. That was it. I never saw NBA sports at all when I grew up. You didn't have CBS affiliation in North Carolina, in Wilmington. So Buzz Peterson became a dot on my board. And when I got the chance to meet Buzz Peterson on the basketball court or in person, Buzz was a great person. It wasn't a fault of his. It was just my competitive nature. I didn't think he could beat me or he was better than me as a basketball player. And he became my roommate. And from that point on, he became a focal point, not knowingly. He didn't know it. But he did. And Coach Smith, the day that he was on the Sports Illustrated and he named 4 starters and he didn't name me, that burned me up. Because I thought I belonged on that Sports Illustrated. Now, he had his own vision about giving a freshman that exposure, and I totally understand that, but from a basketball sense, I deserve to be on that Sports Illustrated, and he understands that. Pat Riley, you and I, we go way back. I still remember in Hawaii. You remember in Hawaii where you and I was coming in, you were, I guess, leaving, and you decided to stay a couple extra days, but you were in my suite, and they came and they told you had to get out of my suite. And you slid a note underneath my door, although you had to move, you did move. You slid a note saying, I enjoyed the competition, congratulations, but we will meet again. And I take to heart in that because I think, in all honesty, you are just as competitive as I am, even from a coaching standpoint. And you've challenged me every time I played the Knicks, the Heat. And I don't think you were with the Lakers, but anytime I played against you, you had Jordan Stoppers on your team. You had John Starks, who I loved. You even had my friend Charles Oakley saying we can't go to lunch, we can't go to dinner because Pat doesn't believe in fraternizing between the two of us. And this guy hit me harder than anybody else in the league, and he was my best friend. Patrick Ewing, we had the same age, we came out at the same time, but we couldn't go to lunch. Why is this? You think I'm gonna play against Patrick any different than I play against anybody else? No. And then you had your little guy who was on your staff who became the Knicks coach after you, Jeff Van Gundy. He said I conned the players, I befriended them, and then I attack them on the basketball court. Where did that come from? I just so happen to be a friendly guy. I get along with everybody, but at the same time, when the light comes on, I'm as competitive as anybody you know. You know, so you guys, I must say thank you very much for giving me that motivation that I desperately needed. And then you had all your media naysayers. Oh, scoring champion can't win an NBA title, or you know, you're not as good as Magic Johnson, you're not as good as Larry Bird. You're good, but you're not as good as those guys. You know, I had to listen to all this, and that put so much wood on that fire that it kept me each and every day trying to get better as a basketball player. Now, I'm not saying they were wrong. I may have looked at them from a different perspective, you know, but at the same time, as a basketball player, I'm trying to become the best that I can, you know, and for someone like me who achieved a lot in over the time of my career, you look for any kind of messages that people may say or do to get you motivated to play the game of basketball at the highest level, because that is when I feel like I excel at my best. And my last example of that, and the last one that you guys probably have seen, I hate to do it to him, but he's such a nice guy. And when I first met Brian Russell, John and Carl should remember this. I was in Chicago in 1994. I was working out for baseball. They came down for a workout and shoot around. I came over to say hello. And at this time, I had no thoughts of coming back and playing the game of basketball. And Brian Russell came over to me and said, "You know what, man, why'd you quit? Why'd you quit? You know I can guard you. If I ever see you in a pair of shorts, you remember this, John?" And so when I did decide to come back in 1995, and then we played Utah in '96, I'm at the center circle, and Brian Russell's sitting next to me, and I look over to Brian. I said, "You remember this conversation you made in 1994 about I think I can guard you, I can shut you down, I would love to play against you. Well, you about to get your chance."